Increasing natural disasters, the overwhelming karma of humanity. Welcome back, everyone, to Mind Podcast. Are natural disasters such as earthquakes and tsunamis caused by the negative effects of killing living beings? If humans want to be free from suffering, they need to cultivate mindfulness, avoid evil deeds, do good deeds, and help all living beings. This is the solemn teaching of the Buddhas across the eons, enlightening the world. Humanity will follow the karma they have created and will experience either good or bad results, depending on their deeds, leading to the end of suffering. In recent years, hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, and tsunamis have occurred everywhere with increasing intensity, threatening the lives of many people and animals. It seems that each year's storms are stronger than the previous year, and the damage to human life and property is incalculable. According to scientists, this is all due to global warming, which causes ice to melt, deforestation, and excessive use of substances that increase greenhouse gases. However, many believe that all of this is a consequence of the killing of sentient beings. The unrest in the world is due to the unresolved debts of countless spirits who died unjustly, leading to wars, while earthquakes and tsunamis are believed to be the karmic result of abortions, with the souls of unborn children unable to move on, causing these disasters. Is this perspective in line with the teachings of Buddhism? How can we reduce such damages? In the geological history of our Earth, climate change has occurred many times, with long periods of cold and heat, which we refer to as ice ages or interglacial periods. The last ice age occurred 10,000 years ago, and we are currently in a warming phase of the interglacial period. The causes of these climate changes can be attributed to the shifts and tilts of the Earth's rotational axis, changes in its orbital path around the Sun, the positioning of the continents and oceans, and especially changes in atmospheric composition. While the first causes are planetary, the final cause is significantly impacted by humans, which we refer to as global warming or the greenhouse effect. Climate change is becoming increasingly severe, with the clearest manifestation being the warming of the Earth, ice melting, rising sea levels, and unusual weather events such as storms, tsunamis, earthquakes, droughts, and prolonged cold spells, leading to food shortages and the spread of various diseases among humans, livestock, and poultry. The effects of global warming can be seen in the following 10 negative outcomes: rising sea levels, the retreat of glaciers to the poles, heat waves, storms and floods, droughts, natural disasters, economic downturns, conflicts and wars, loss of biodiversity, and the destruction of ecosystems. These are scientific observations. However, according to Buddhism, the state of our environment is part of the declining eon. The phenomena of the declining eon occurring in the 21st century are harming humanity, but it is none other than humans themselves who are creating bad karma. In the declining eon, human lifespan is determined by the good karma accumulated in the advancing eon. In the beginning, humans had a lifespan of up to 84,000 years. Every 100 years, the lifespan decreases by 1 year until it reaches the lowest point of 10 years, marking the end of the human era. This entire cycle is considered one declining eon, which spans approximately 899,000 years. When the human lifespan was 84,000 years, people stood 840 feet tall, and with every 100 years their height decreased by 1 foot, as did their lifespan. When humans reach the age of 10, they will only be 1 foot tall. In the declining eon, the bad karma of humanity increases, and their blessings diminish. When the lifespan was 84,000 years, due to the rise in good karma, the 7 treasures appeared, favorable weather prevailed, and the land was abundant with sweet springs and fragrant rice. People were virtuous, and a wise king governed the land. However, when the lifespan decreases to just 10 years, due to the increase in bad karma, the 7 treasures disappear, food loses its taste, and disasters occur. The environment turns harsh, with spirits and demons crying out, the balance of yin and yang disrupted, and rain falling out of season. Hunger and suffering spread, and humans deceive, compete, and kill each other. In this declining eon, there are also 3 minor calamities: famine, epidemics, and war. According to the Yogacara Bhumi Shastra, when the human lifespan decreases to only 30 years, there will be a catastrophe of famine lasting for 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days. During this time, rain will be rare and no crops will grow, leading to countless human deaths, with bones scattered across the fields. If anyone manages to find a single grain of rice, they will treat it as if it were a precious jewel and hide it away carefully. After this horrific wave of death, the survivors will become disillusioned, and those of lower status will truly repent, which will bring an end to the disaster. When the human lifespan decreases to 20 years, due to people's growing dissatisfaction and regret for their past misdeeds, they will begin to commit further evil, leading to an epidemic lasting 7 months and 7 days. The dead will be left unburied, scattered along roads and in fields. At that time, people will realize that their suffering is the result of their bad karma, and they will sincerely repent. This collective remorse will lead to the end of the epidemic. As time passes, humanity will gradually forget the suffering they experienced and will once again engage in the 10 evil deeds, bringing even more suffering upon themselves. When the human lifespan decreases to only 10 years, children will be able to walk shortly after birth, and within just a few years, they will marry. At that time, humanity will consider husked rice as their most precious food, use hair as their finest clothing, and adorn themselves with iron. All the delicious and valuable foods will disappear, and things like honey, sugar, and salt will lose their taste. During great banquets, people will often cook dry bones to serve each other. At that point, there will be another catastrophe of war. First, nations will bring armies to kill one another, and even within families, between fathers and sons, brothers and husbands and wives, there will be constant arguments, let alone with outsiders. As the world nears its end, the power of bad karma will reach its peak. In just 7 days, humanity will become mad, and whatever they hold in their hands, be it a stick, tile, or stone, will turn into swords and weapons. No matter if people are family or strangers, they will kill one another on sight, thinking that if they do not kill, they themselves will be killed. During that time, death will be widespread and the roads will be deserted. After 7 days, the killing karma will dissipate, and only around 10,000 people will survive, hiding in caves and mountains. Gradually, they will emerge, but the world will be desolate, and it will be difficult to encounter another human even after traveling many miles. When they do meet, they will embrace and weep. At this point, the declining eon will have reached its final stage. Humanity, filled with profound disillusionment, will gradually begin to practice good deeds, and as a result, their blessings and lifespan will slowly increase once again. Indeed, such natural phenomena frequently occur as a result of the karmic retribution of sentient beings on Earth. People, in their desire to enjoy the fruits of their labor, compete for power, expand their dominance, and pay little attention to ethical living or spiritual practice. As a result, greed, anger, and ignorance erupt with increasing intensity, fueling personal selfishness. To satisfy their desires for food, clothing, comfort, fame, and material wealth, they create enmity and kill one another, leading to the tragic outcomes of ethnic wars, border wars, and even global wars, all of which are horrifying and result in the merciless killing of humans. This is the karmic cause and effect. Another heart-wrenching consequence is the karma of killing animals. Wild creatures like tigers, leopards, elephants, and livestock such as cattle, sheep, goats, chickens, and ducks, as well as marine life, all of whom suffer because of humans. In essence, humans accumulate resentment and engage in the endless cycle of birth and death, repayment and retribution. If people wish to end their suffering, they must cultivate mindfulness, avoid evil deeds, do good, and help all sentient beings. This is the solemn teaching of the Buddhas throughout the ages. People will follow the karma they have created and will no longer experience suffering. For example, if we do not cut down forests, there will be no floods or droughts. If we do not kill or steal, and do not exploit the weak, there will be no wars, pain, or separation. If we are not greedy, selfish, and obsessed with the 5 sensual pleasures, there will be no global warming, melting ice, earthquakes, or tsunamis. If we avoid indulgence in luxury, gambling, and intoxication, there will be no poverty or hunger. Bhikkhus, when humans become unrighteous, this is the 5th hindrance to rainfall. Bhikkhus, this is a hindrance to rainfall that forecasters cannot predict, for their eyes cannot endure or comprehend the causes. Rain is a natural and essential phenomenon for human life. However, heavy rain can cause natural disasters such as floods, which wash away wealth, destroy land, submerge homes, and claim human lives. In recent years, floods have been continuous across the world, especially in central Vietnam, where natural disasters have become more frequent, making life increasingly difficult for people. Humanity is powerless before the destruction caused by nature, despite increasingly accurate weather forecasts that help people protect themselves and their belongings. After each flood, the people in affected areas still endure immense suffering and loss. According to the Buddha, we must use and exploit natural resources responsibly, without depleting them, and we must protect the environment as we would protect our own hearts. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha teaches that there are 5 hindrances caused by rain and 5 obstacles to rain. Bhikkhus, these are hindrances to rainfall that forecasters cannot predict, as their eyes cannot endure them. What are these 5? In the sky, bhikkhus, the element of fire is in turmoil, and thus the clouds scatter. Bhikkhus, this is the first hindrance to rain, and forecasters do not know it, for their eyes cannot endure or comprehend it. Again, bhikkhus, in the sky, the wind element is in turmoil, and thus the clouds scatter. Bhikkhus, this is the second hindrance to rain, and forecasters do not know it, for their eyes cannot endure or comprehend it. Again, bhikkhus, Rahu, the king of the Asuras, grasps the water with his hand and pours it into the great ocean. Bhikkhus, this is the third hindrance to rain, and forecasters do not know it, for their eyes cannot endure or comprehend it. Again, bhikkhus, the deities of the clouds become lazy and neglect to cause rain. This is the fourth hindrance to rain, and forecasters do not know it, for their eyes cannot endure or comprehend it. Again, bhikkhus, when people become unrighteous, this is the fifth hindrance to rain. Forecasters do not know it, for their eyes cannot endure or comprehend it. Bhikkhus, these are the 5 hindrances to rain that forecasters do not know, for their eyes cannot endure or comprehend them. Among these 5 hindrances, one is the result of unrighteous human behavior. Unrighteous people are those filled with greed. They exploit nature excessively, deforest lands, cultivate the soil, block water flows, and release harmful gases into the environment. These are the direct causes of natural disasters and floods. The Buddha teaches that this highlights the deep connection between humans and nature. According to the doctrine of dependent origination, humans and nature are inseparable and are part of a unified, indivisible whole. Economist E.F. Schumacher said that humans are children of nature, not its masters. We must understand that we are part of an ecosystem that includes many different forms of life. When humans are greedy or exploit nature excessively for profit, they will face adverse consequences. Climate change and environmental pollution are the results of human actions. Therefore, according to the Buddha, we must use and exploit nature responsibly and should not deplete it. Instead, we should protect the environment as we would protect our own hearts. Now, more than ever, we must take immediate action to save the natural environment. For saving the environment is saving ourselves. We must start with the smallest actions possible to bring purity and peace to the natural environment, ensuring favorable weather, calm seas, and creating a peaceful and happy life for all beings.